Hello there, and welcome back to my channel. Before we begin, take a quiet moment to settle in and let the day loosen its hold while your breath finds an easy rhythm. Whether you are listening at night or in a soft morning, let the noise drift to the edges and let the mind rest in the middle. Imagine a silent horizon where starlight has traveled for ages, where the air feels cool and weightless, and where the darkness is not empty, but softly breathing around you. Time moves like a slow river you cannot see, and space stretches like an invisible fabric, holding everything in place. The stars, the dust, the quiet pull of distant worlds. This is a question as old as the first human gaze at the night sky. What actually are space and time? Not a list of facts, but a slow unfolding, a journey through the invisible structure that cradles every moment, every breath, every flicker of light. It is a tale of fabric and flow, of stillness and motion, of the stage on which everything exists. What if space is not the emptiness between things, but the gentle thread that connects them? And what if time is not a clock ticking forward, but a river flowing in only one direction, carrying stars, memories, and everything you have ever known? Where are you listening from right now? And what is the weather of your room? Quiet, dim, rainy, or warm? While we share this small moment woven into the same fabric of space and time. If you enjoy slow journeys like this, you are welcome to stay a little longer. Maybe follow along, no rush. Just a seat beside the soft glow. So, let your thoughts fall to the pace of light drifting through the dark. Let your breath sink with the turning of unseen wheels. And we will begin, moving gently through this question, like a tide that knows its way, soft and sure. There is a night without a moon, and above, the sky is full of stars. They hang there, scattered like salt across black cloth, each one a point of light that has traveled through the vast and patient, dark to reach the eyes that look up now. The light is old, older than memory, older than the hills, older than the first breath of any living thing, and yet it arrives soft and new, as if it had just been born in the moment of seeing. Space in this moment does not feel like emptiness. It feels like something real, something that holds and carries and allows the light to move. It is not the gap between the stars, but the quiet stage on which they rest. The ancient Egyptians looked up at this same sky and saw not absence, but presence. They imagined a goddess named Nut, her body arched across the heavens, her skin the color of twilight, swallowing the sun each evening and giving birth to it again each dawn. To them, the sky was alive, breathing, moving, tender. It was not a void, but a body, warm and watching. The Babylonians mapped the stars with careful hands, tracing their slow drift across the seasons, learning their names and their returning paths. The Greeks wove stories into the patterns they saw: hunters and bears, swans and serpents, as if the night itself were a book written in light, and perhaps it is. Perhaps the sky has always been trying to tell us something, in a language older than words, slower than speech. Space is like a fabric, stretched thin and wide, holding everything that is. It does not push or pull, but simply allows. It gives room. It gives distance. It gives the quiet in between, where things can exist without touching, where light can travel without end. And so the first question forms, soft and slow, like a breath in the dark. What is this space that holds us? Space has three directions, forward and back, left and right, up and down. Every point within it can be phoned, can be named, can be reached if one moves long enough in the right direction. But space is not rigid. It does not hold its shape the way a box does, with hard edges and fixed corners. It bends, it curves, it gives. Imagine an ant walking across the surface of a balloon. To the ant, the surface feels flat, endless, with no edge in sight. But from above, from a distance, the curve is clear, the balloon is round, and the ant is walking along a surface that bends back toward itself, gentle and continuous. Space, too, can curve like this, not in a way we can see with our eyes, but in a way that light reveals, that gravity pulls, that time follows. In dreams, the mind creates space that has never existed. Rooms appear with doors that lead nowhere. Hallways stretch longer than they should. Staircases fold back on themselves in ways that defy all logic. And yet, in the dream, it feels real. The dreamer walks through these impossible architectures without question, because the brain has made a space and the brain believes it. Space in dreams is as real to the sleeping mind as the space of the waking world. Both are structures, both are stages, both allow movement, presence, the feeling of being somewhere. Space is like fabric, not stiff like wood, but soft like silk, able to stretch and sag and hold the weight of what rests upon it. The galaxies, the stars, the small blue planet turning in the dark, they all rest in space, not floating in nothing, but held by something, cradled by the gentle give of the fabric itself. And between them, in the vast distances that seem so empty, there is not absence. There is space. There is structure. There is the quiet medium through which light can travel, through which gravity can reach, through which time can flow. Space is not nothing. It is the canvas. It is the breath between words. It is the pause that makes the music. And as the mind begins to settle into this idea that space is real, that it curves and holds and breathes, the question shifts softly, like a leaf turning in a stream, towards something just as quiet, just as vast, the nature of time itself. Time is not a clock. It is not the hands turning, not the numbers changing, not the chime that marks the hour. Time is something deeper, something that moves beneath all of this, Like a current beneath the surface of a river, it flows in one direction only, from what has been toward what will be, and it carries everything with it: memories, moments, the light of distant stars, the fall of leaves, the breath you take now, and the breath you will take next. Time is sometimes called the fourth dimension, as if it were another direction, like up or down, left or right, but it does not feel like a direction. It feels like a passage, a slow, steady drift. You cannot turn around in time the way you turn around in space. You cannot walk backward into yesterday, no matter how much you might want to. Time moves forward, always forward, like a river that has no source you can see and no mouth you can reach. The ancient Greeks told a story of Kronos, the god of time, sometimes shown as an old man with a long beard, sometimes as a serpent eating its own tail. They said that time was like a river, wide and deep and endless, and that no one could step into the same river twice. The water that touched your foot a moment ago has already moved downstream, and the person who stepped in is not quite the same person who steps out. Everything changes, everything flows. But why does time move in only one direction? Why can we remember yesterday, but not tomorrow? Why does the cup fall and shatter, but never leap from the floor and mend itself? Why does smoke rise and scatter, but never gather and return? The answers lie deeper than words can easily reach, in the way the universe prefers disorder over order, in the way energy spreads and does not return. But for now, it is enough to know this: time flows, and we flow with it, like leaves on the surface of a stream. When you are resting, when your breath is slow and your body is still, time can feel different. It stretches, it softens. A minute in deep relaxation can feel as long as an hour, or as short as a heartbeat. Time is not only something measured by clocks, it is also something felt, something lived, something shaped by the mind and the moment. Time is like honey, slow and golden, pooling in the low places, gathering in the quiet spaces where nothing moves too fast. And in those spaces, in the softness of the breath and the stillness of the body, time becomes something you can rest in, something that holds you gently, without hurry, without end. Time flows, and space holds, and together they are not separate, but woven. And so the story turns, as gently as a page, toward the place where these two meet. For a long time, people believed that space and time were two separate things. Space as the open stage, and time as the ticking clock. Yet a softer truth emerged, as quietly as the first glow of morning touching a world at rest. They are not apart. They are bound together, so finely and so gently that they cannot be unstitched. They are one fabric, one stream, one slow breath, flowing beneath all things. People call it space-time. Imagine a vast cloth stretched through the dark, threads interwoven without end. Each heartbeat, each thought, each glimmer of a star is nothing more than a point, where two threads cross. The weave is delicate, yet strong, endless, yet near. Nothing drifts outside of it. Nothing is ever separate. All things are carried within the same pattern, steady and unbroken. In such a weave, place and moment cannot be parted. To say here is to whisper now. To say then is also to say there. Every event in the universe is both a location and a moment, both a point of distance and a point of time. Even the stars above you, shining quietly in the night, are not just far away, they are long ago. The light you see is a message sent years, centuries, even millennia before, carrying with it the memory of something that may already have faded. In looking upward, you are also looking backward, your gaze turning into a gentle kind of time travel. And when you sleep, when the body grows still and the breath slows, this fabric loosens its grip. Dreams reshape the pattern. Hours may dissolve into moments, and moments may stretch into what feels like entire lifetimes. A short nap may expand like an afternoon. A dream that lasts for minutes may feel as though it has wandered for hours in sleep. You float through space-time without markers, without clocks, unmoored, like a small leaf carried by a current too wide to see. Space-time itself cannot be touched, yet it holds everything. Every thought rises within it. Every movement unfolds inside it. You are not placed upon space-time as if upon a surface. You are wrapped within it, like a fish in water, like a bird in air. It is not outside you, and you are not outside it. You are always within the fabric, thread by thread, moment by moment, endlessly part of its quiet design. And in this recognition, there is comfort. You are not separate from the universe. You are not standing apart, adrift and alone. You are woven in, gently and completely, carried in the same flowing cloth as the stars and the seasons, the past and the yet to come. The weave holds, and it does not let go. And so, as the mind rests within this thought, soft as snow falling on still ground, the story turns again toward the messenger that glides through this fabric without pause, a traveler carrying memory and glow, the quiet gift of light. Light moves through space at a constant speed, the fastest speed there is. Nothing in the universe can move faster than light. It travels across the vast distances between stars and planets, between galaxies and voids, carrying information, carrying energy, carrying the image of things far away. From the sun to the earth, light takes a small but measurable amount of time to arrive. When you look at the sun, though you should never look directly, you are not seeing it as it is now, but as it was a few minutes ago. The light you see left the surface of the sun and traveled through the emptiness, patient and steady, until it reached your eyes. In that sense, all seeing is a kind of time travel. You are always looking into the past. When you look at the stars at night, you are looking even further back Some of the stars you see are so far away that their light has been traveling for hundreds, thousands, even millions of years. The star you see tonight may no longer exist. It may have burned out, collapsed, faded into darkness long ago, but its light is still traveling, still moving, still carrying the memory of what it once was. In ancient Persia, light was seen as sacred, as the breath of the divine, as something that could move between worlds without ever growing tired or old. Light does not age. A photon of light that left a distant star a billion years ago is no different, no older, no weaker than a photon that left a candle flame a moment ago. Light is eternal in its youth, forever traveling, forever bright. Light is the bridge between space and time. It connects distant places. It reveals distant moments. It is the thread that stitches the fabric of space-time together, allowing us to see, to know, to touch, even if only with our eyes, things that are impossibly far away. Imagine the light from a single star, a thin beam traveling through the dark, carrying its soft glow across the silent void. It does not rush. It does not tire. It simply moves, steady and sure, like a breath in the night, like a whisper across water. And when it finally reaches you, when it touches your eye and becomes a point of brightness in your vision, it has completed a journey that began long before you were born, a journey through space-time, through distance and duration, through the quiet vastness of the universe. And so light, in its patient traveling, reminds us everything is connected. Every point of space touches every moment of time. The universe is not a collection of separate things, but a single flowing, luminous whole. And in that thought, soft and still, the first chapter comes to rest. The flow drifts onward, as though carried by the same quiet current that holds space and time together. And the breath of thought moves gently toward another mystery, one that is felt with every step upon the earth, yet seldom seen with the eyes. For a long while, what kept bodies close to the ground, what brought the apple down, what guided the moon along its patient circle, was imagined as a force stretched invisibly across emptiness, pulling as a wand might draw another closer. It was pictured as a thread, unseen yet firm, constant as the returning of each dawn. Later, another vision appeared, soft and subtle, listening to the silence between the facts. Gravity revealed itself not as a hand that pulled, but as a quiet fold in the stage of the cosmos, a soft curve where stars and planets drifted as though lulled by the fabric itself. Space and time, joined together, do not stand stiff and rigid like a box, but give way as silk gives way beneath weight. A star or a planet does not command or grasp. It rests, and the fabric curves around it, forming valleys, shaping paths, laying out lines along which others drift. It is not the grip of a hand, but the slope of a hill, guiding travelers with the quiet persuasion of the land itself. The image is often told of a cloth stretched wide, with a heavy sphere laid upon it. The surface bends, it sags, it holds. Another smaller sphere placed nearby does not move straight, but circles, sliding along the hollow as though lulled by the curve. The earth circles the sun, not by the tug of a rope, but by gliding along a hollow carved in silence, as though it were a bead resting in a bowl of night, moving where the curve invited it. The sun itself does not reach for earth. It is a weight resting in silence, bending the stage beneath. Around that curve, the earth follows a line that feels natural, effortless, repeating like a dream each night without the need of thought. There is no strike, no sudden clash, only the steady drift of motion shaped by curve, the way water follows the bend of its riverbank, without doubt, without strain. The people of the north once said that Odin, seated on a high throne, could see across 9 realms from one vantage. His throne was said to rest at a place where the worlds bent together, where vision could slip through folds of space and time, like looking down a deep well. In myth, they saw what the cosmos whispered, that what is curved may also reveal, that what is bent may also connect. To fall is not to strike or to end, but to follow a gentle slope, to drift along the hollow drawn by presence, as though the body were a feather leaning into a breeze. A body in free fall is not being pulled down, but moving naturally upon a curved path, like a feather sliding on a breeze, like a pedal carried on slow water. It is motion without resistance, without strain. The earth itself falls forever around the sun, never reaching it, never leaving it, tracing a circle without end, like breath that returns upon itself in rest. The moon falls around earth in the same way, drawing a silver path across the sky. Each fall is a glide, each orbit a song, each curve a cradle. There is no violence here, only the persuasion of a hollow in space-time, carved quietly by presence. Imagine a bubble set upon a funnel, spiraling inward with calm inevitability, its path not commanded but suggested by the slope beneath. It circles, it drifts, it sinks, and in that movement there is no hurry, only surrender to shape. Gravity is such a funnel, carved not in soil or stone, but in the unseen cloth of space-time, invisible yet always felt. To drift within such a curve is to trust the design of the cosmos, to rest within its shape instead of struggle. Gravity is not a chain, not a call, but a reshaping of the ground beneath, a reshaping so complete that every orbit, every step, every fall is only a continuation of that curve. And in this vision, falling no longer feels like descent, but like floating in soft circles, like sinking gently into the cushions of night. To rest within gravity is to rest within the fold of the universe, to let breath move freely, to let the body feel light even as it is held. The curve is patient, The curve is kind. The thought settles here, with gravity not as a grasping hand, but as the quiet bend of space-time, the gentle slope upon which all things drift, as natural as a leaf upon still water, as serene as the rhythm of breath in the dark. From the curve of space, the thought drifts gently into the flow of time. For what bends in one dimension bends also in the other, as though both were woven threads of the same cloth, folding together in silence. Time, though often felt as steady and unchanging, is not immune to weight. Near great masses, the flow slows, thickens, stretches like honey sliding down glass, golden and reluctant. Reluctant not from resistance, but from depth. It does not hurry there. It lingers, as though gravity's presence does not only shape where bodies move, but also how moments pass. Upon the peaks, time trickles with a rhythm faintly swifter, while near the sea it lingers, almost imperceptible, like two breaths taken at different lengths, both real, though barely felt. The clocks upon high peaks tick a little faster than those kept near the shore, a reminder that time itself is pliant, willing to bend and stretch when pressed by the weight of the earth. It is not a rigid ruler, but a current that can be slowed, a breath that can be drawn longer or shorter depending on where it flows. The difference is small, softer than a whisper, yet it is there, as real as the fading of stars or the drift of tides high upon the mountains. Moments seem to slip more lightly, while by the ocean they linger, drawn close as though into the embrace of the earth itself. It is a truth, gentle and precise, measured, yet also poetic. Even age itself bends, and the rhythm of life carries tiny variations depending on altitude, like the shifting tempo of a song sung at dawn versus one sung at dusk. To imagine this bending is to picture a stream of honey flowing with patience, forming thicker pools near heavy stones, slowing its trickle where the weight is strongest. Near stars or planets, the river of moments grows thicker, each drop of time lingering longer, as though reluctant to fall away into silence. It is not resistance, but gravity's quiet hand upon the clock, unseen but always present. Near the mouth of a black hole, the bending deepens, tender in its vastness. Time stretches until it almost stops, a river pooling into stillness, a breath held endlessly within the dark. To stand on such an edge would be to watch the universe rush forward elsewhere, while one's own moments linger, stretched into eternity. It is not terror, but a suspension, like resting within a dream that does not end, a stillness that feels infinite. The slowing of time near weight is simply the breath of the universe, drawn longer in some places, softer in others, just as valleys gather water more slowly, just as shadows linger longer in low places, so too does time rest differently depending on where it flows. The cosmos does not measure with rigid tools. It allows bending, curving, soft variation. It holds moments the way a hand might hold water, some slipping faster, some staying longer, yet all still part of the same river. Within this bending, there is also a quiet gift, the realization that time is not a fixed and merciless march, but a fabric that yields, a current that adapts, offers a sense of rest. To imagine one's days as honey, thicker here, thinner there, is to feel the possibility of softness in the passage of existence. Not every second is equal, not every breath is the same length, and yet all are part of the same unfolding, gentle and unhurried. Even now, within the simple act of breathing, there is a reflection of this truth. Inhalation stretches, elongates, slows the senses of the world. Exhalation releases, quickens, moves on. Breath is time made visible, time softened into rhythm, time bent by the body's quiet weight. To breathe slowly is to let time stretch. To breathe deeply is to let it linger. And so, in the nearness of gravity, the cosmos itself seems to breathe more slowly, as though matching the pace of stars. The bending of time, though almost invisible in daily life, carries with it a sense of wonder that does not disturb but soothes. It suggests that moments are not fixed stones laid in a path, but shifting lights upon water, stretching or shrinking with the presence of mass. It turns the thought of time from an iron arrow into a golden drift, pliant and forgiving, never harsh. And so the flow settles here, with time itself revealed as flexible, shaped by the weight of worlds, slowed near great masses, lingering at the edges of black holes, stretching like honey in the dark, a current both steady and pliant, a river that breathes, a breath that carries, a lullaby written not in words, but in the slow unfolding of space-time itself. From the gentle bend of time, thought flows naturally into another quiet realization. The stage of the cosmos itself does not stay still. It loosens, it stretches, it grows wider beneath the stars, like fabric breathing softly in the dark. Space is not frozen. It lengthens slowly, so quietly that the widening is only seen when gazing at faraway galaxies, their light drifting through millions of years. They do not rush apart like ships sailing through a sea, for their motion is not the cause. Instead, the cloth of space between them is unfolding, carrying each one farther from the others. A simple picture helps the mind rest with this idea. Dots upon the skin of a balloon. The dots never move on their own, yet as the balloon swells, each dot finds itself more distant from the rest. Galaxies resemble those dots, resting quietly while the fabric beneath expands. They are passengers rather than travelers, borne along by the breathing of space. In the ancient songs of the Hindus, there is the image of Brahma, the creator, who inhales, and the cosmos folds inward, who exhales, and the cosmos spreads outward. These breaths are not fleeting, but span billions of years, each cycle as slow as sleep, as patient as the rhythm of waves returning to shore. The expansion of the universe is such an exhalation, soft and steady, as though the divine itself were sighing in rest. This widening does not push into some larger container. There is no outside waiting for it to grow into. The expansion is the making of space itself, as though the stage is woven while the play unfolds. To imagine an edge would be to misunderstand. There is only more cloth being drawn out, no rim, no wall, only a spreading without boundary. The beginning of this breath is often pictured as a point impossibly small, holding within it all that now exists. Like a seed tucked beneath the soil, it held the potential of stars and rivers, of mountains and eyes. Then it blossomed, the unfolding of petals, not in haste, but in steady widening. Galaxies took their places as the bloom opened. Stars ignited like sparks within the petals. Worlds circled quietly, each in its own orbit, each in its own rhythm. To hold this image is to feel breath within the chest. With every inhale, the ribs lift and the lungs fill. Space inside grows wide. With every exhale, that space releases. The air drifts outward, and a hush follows. The universe mirrors this, breathing on scales too vast for the human mind, yet gentle enough to resemble the rise and fall of the body in rest. Expansion does not shout. It is not an explosion. It is closer to the slow lengthening of a shadow when the sun sinks lower, or the spread of ripples across a pond when a single pebble touches the water. Galaxies are lanterns upon the cloth, separating not by their own effort, but because the cloth itself unfurls beneath them. The widening is continuous, like silk drawn out thread by thread, smooth and patient. Within such an image rests comfort. Growth can be quiet, unfolding without urgency. The universe expands, not like a burst, but like a sigh at dusk. Not like a storm, but like a whisper carried on the wind. The mind, resting in this thought, may feel its own space widen, a gentle sense of openness within the chest, as though mirroring that slow cosmic breath. The idea carries a kind of tenderness. All things are part of the same unfolding. The stars that glow, the planets that turn, the dust that drifts unseen. None of them move away by choice or by will. They are held in the same widening, each one cradled within the same sigh. Expansion is not a scattering, but a holding, a stretching of the fabric that keeps everything together. So the image lingers, steady and calm. Galaxies like ink dots upon a balloon. Space itself as a cloth that grows wider. The universe as a lotus that blooms endlessly, petal after petal, opening without haste. There is no rush, only the slow drift outward. All things are carried along, like leaves upon a river too wide to see its banks, floating in unison upon the same gentle tide. And in this vision, expansion becomes a lullaby, not a warning. The cosmos breathes. It stretches softly. It flowers without end. To sense this is to rest with the thought that all of existence moves outward together, not in fear, but in the rhythm of sleep, in the rhythm of breath, in the rhythm of silence that never ends. From the thought of expansion, another question rises softly, like mist over still water. If the universe stretches, can it ever come to an end? Or does it continue without boundary? There are those who imagine the cosmos as infinite, with no edge, no final wall, a horizon that always recedes. Others see it as vast yet finite, shaped but without a rim, like the surface of a sphere that can be traveled without ever finding a stopping place. The mind searches for borders, but space offers only openness. The image of a globe helps quiet the uncertainty. Its surface is limited in size, yet no walker ever finds a cliff where the land ceases. An ant placed upon a ball may wander forever, turning in circles, tracing lines, yet never meeting an edge. The journey is endless, not because the ground has no shape, but because it curves back into itself. So too may the universe curve, folding toward itself like a circle extended into 3 dimensions, a form without margin. Within such a vision, space is not flat and endless, but curved and whole, carrying each traveler upon path that could one day return to their beginning. To move forward without end might still lead back, not by reversal, but by the gentle wrapping of the cosmos upon itself. In the teachings of Buddhism, the Huayan Sutra whispers of a truth both delicate and vast. Within a single speck of dust lies the entire universe, and within the universe rest countless specks. No beginning can be pointed to, no ending can be named. Existence is portrayed as a web without center or edge, where every part contains the whole, and the whole reflects every part. Infinity and finitude melt together in a vision of endless interconnection. To walk in such a universe is to step across a stage where every direction continues, each road leading into more distance. The path may circle unseen, but the size is too great to verify. If a traveler were to go straight without rest, the path might one day bring them back to the place from which they began, though the journey would be so long that lifetimes could not encompass it. The possibility remains a quiet thought, untested, like a dream not yet dreamed. The sense this brings is not of confinement, but of release. A universe without edges allows drifting without fear of walls, wandering without worry of arriving at the last step. The motion feels eternal, a floating within boundlessness, like a leaf carried on wind that has no end. The absence of borders becomes the presence of freedom. Even the notion of boundaries softens when imagined this way. A horizon always appears, but moving toward it only creates another and another beyond. Horizons are not edges, but markers of sight, receding always as one advances, like waves that seem near, yet fold into distance. What feels finite to the eye may be limitless to the path. In stillness, this thought soothes like a lullaby. Space may not promise a clear answer, but it invites surrender to vastness, whether infinite or curved upon itself. It offers no harsh edge, no sudden break. It only provides room, more room than can be measured, more than can be conceived, a room that holds all stars and still leaves silence between them. The universe may be finite like a globe, or infinite like an endless plain, yet in either form, the feeling is the same. No final border halts the drift. To rest within such immensity is to let go of the need for edges, to float upon a sea that reveals no shore. The absence of boundaries is not emptiness, but abundance, a fullness of directions where every journey continues. And so the thought finds peace here, in the vision of space without walls, a cosmos that curves back upon itself or stretches without end, a realm where travel may continue forever without reaching a stop. The sense is of boundlessness, a drifting that never concludes, as if carried endlessly through still night, as if breathing within air that never ends, as if sleeping within silence that has no borders. From the thought of boundless space, attention drifts gently toward the flow that runs through it, the quiet stream called time, and to the question of whether this river has a source from which it began. Time and space are not separate companions, but were born together, twins in the same first moment, appearing like breath and heartbeat, arriving at once. Before that instant, there was no before, no earlier place where moments might wait. The question of what came before the birth of the universe fades into silence, for there was no stage yet upon which such a sequence could unfold. To ask what lay before the beginning is like asking for a road north of the northernmost point. Beyond that turning, there is nothing to travel, no land, no compass. The very directions dissolve. In the same way, there was no earlier to reach for, because time itself had not yet stretched its first thread across existence. The beginning was not inside time. It was the birth of time. The image is soft and simple, the first drop of a spring, appearing from the rock without a trace of where it hid, sliding into being, and then forming a stream. The water did not flow before that drop, just as time did not pass before its first moment. What comes into being at the start has no need of a past, only the tender presence of a beginning. This thought may seem strange to the waking mind, yet in the realm of dreams, something similar occurs. Sometimes a dreamer awakens with memories of events that never were, recollections of past that existed only within the dream itself. The mind does not only create the present of the dream, but also weaves a past to accompany it, a history that was never lived, but feels complete. In this way, the brain mirrors the cosmos, which at its awakening brought not only space and light, but time itself, flowing from nowhere into everywhere. Time belongs to the universe as a property of its being. It does not sit outside, waiting to govern. It was created in the same breath as matter, as stars, as the fabric of space. To imagine time without the universe is to imagine a shadow without light, a river without water, a melody without sound. They exist together, inseparable, like inhalation and exhalation bound to the act of breathing. The first unfolding was not harsh or sudden when seen with gentle eyes. It may be pictured as the slow unfurling of a flower, petals opening from a bud that seemed too small to contain them. Outward they spread, soft and luminous, revealing space and time together, revealing a stage where galaxies could later turn, where stars could shine, where life could breathe. This was not chaos, but emergence, not noise, but a quiet blooming. To think of time as having a beginning is to rest with the sense that all flowing things need not be eternal in both directions. Rivers begin with springs, winds begin with shifts of air, songs begin with their first notes. Time too began, and its beginning was as natural as the first pulse of a heartbeat in silence. There is peace in knowing it started, for beginnings are part of the rhythm of existence. The absence of a before may feel unsettling, but in the calm of contemplation, it becomes soothing. Without an earlier moment, the beginning does not need explanation beyond itself. It simply is, like dawn after night, like the first stir of wind across still grass. There is no need to ask what preceded the first light, for the presence of light itself is enough. And so, time is not an eternal ruler, stretching endlessly backward. It is a gift of the universe, a feature of its unfolding. It began when the cosmos began, and from that point onward, it has flowed like a current that never stops, carrying stars and lives, carrying memory and breath. The first instant was a quiet offering, a moment appearing gently, without thunder, without violence, as though whispered into being. The thought rests in this vision, time rising with the universe, beginning with space appearing as softly as the first drop of a stream that still flows now. The current continues unbroken, yet its source lies at the birth of all things, a beginning that was tender, serene, and complete. The flow moves gently, as though the last thought were only a breath dissolving into silence, and the next rises without effort, carrying the mind toward the stillness between stars. When the gaze drifts into the night sky and lingers on the distance between 2 points of light, it seems as though that darkness is nothing at all, a gap without substance. Yet what appears as absence is not truly empty, for even in stillness there are whispers, even in silence there are threads, like the clear sky at midday, where eyes see only blue, but lungs draw air from its depth. The dark between stars holds more than it shows. Transparency does not mean vacancy, and clarity is not void. Within the hush of interstellar night, something unseen moves softly, smaller than dust, lighter than breath, yet present as surely as the breeze felt upon the skin. What seems like nothing carries the quiet murmur of a living fabric. Taoist teachings once spoke of the great void, the Da Shu, not as barren silence, but as a womb of possibility, a place where all potential rests in stillness before it blooms. From emptiness comes form, from nothingness comes presence, as a flower rises from soil unseen beneath the earth. The vacuum, then, is not a desert, but a cradle, the mother of things, holding within its silence the seeds of galaxies and the spark of light. The vision of a quiet lake at night may soften the thought. Its surface lies still, smooth as polished stone, yet beneath currents wander unseen. Fish drift with gentle flicks of fins, and the water itself hums with hidden life. To look only at the mirror of the surface is to believe in stillness, but to imagine below is to feel the secret stirrings. In this way, space too is never bare. It holds hidden motion, secret tide. The vacuum, though named as nothing, has a texture that escapes the eye. It may be pictured as a silk cloth stretched so finely that it seems smooth to sight, yet to the hand it reveals threads, soft ridges, a weave so delicate it hums beneath the fingers. Space resembles that cloth, unbroken, seamless, yet alive with the faintest vibrations, the quiet shiver of possibility. Even two simple plates, left alone in what seems like emptiness, are slowly nudged closer, not by rope nor by wind, but by an unseen hand that rests between them. This quiet motion, known to thought as a quantum whisper, feels less like force and more like presence, as though the void itself breathes gently and the plates respond by drifting closer in kind. What was called emptiness proves instead to be filled with invisible sighs, guiding objects with tender touch. The sense that arises is one of a universe alive even in silence, moving even in stillness, restless yet serene. The spaces between galaxies are not lifeless gaps, but oceans of subtle waves. Oceans too soft to catch the ear, yet steady enough to shape the song of existence. To drift in such space is to drift not in cold absence, but in a sea of quiet vibration, gentle as the heartbeat of night. This thought lingers as a comfort. To imagine the void as barren is to feel loneliness. To imagine it as full is to feel held. Space, in this way, becomes not a hollow, but a field, not a blank, but a fabric woven with unseen threads. Like breath-filling lungs that once felt empty, the void expands into fullness, whispering that silence itself is alive. In the rhythm of the universe, emptiness is never empty. It is possibility, waiting like a seed before spring, or like the hush before dawn. Within that silence, galaxies bloom, stars ignite, and even thought finds a place to rest. The void is both cradle and current, both stillness and pulse, both silence and song. And so the journey pauses here, with the mind resting on the idea that what looks like nothing is filled with everything, that what seems barren is alive with potential, that space itself breathes softly beneath its veil of darkness. The emptiness between stars is not absence, but presence unseen, a gentle reminder that even in silence, the cosmos stirs, and that stirring is enough to cradle thought into rest. The thought moves gently, like a ripple sliding from one circle to the next, carrying the mind from the vast stillness of space into the hidden lands of the very small. Beneath the scale of dust, beneath the measure of a drifting mote, there exists another stage, one quieter yet more restless, where time does not flow as it seems to in the open sky. It flickers and bends, a stream that does not always move straight, but sometimes leaps and lingers, like a playful child whose steps never follow a single path. In this miniature realm, the familiar order of before and after becomes less certain, as though threads of past and future weave together in patterns too fine to see. The river of time that appears smooth in the world of stars becomes here a shimmer, like sunlight scattered across water on a windy day. It does not vanish, it only dances, sparkling and wavering in ways the larger world rarely reveals. A candle flame offers a gentle picture. Its glow is steady enough to warm the dark, yet within the flame there is no stillness, only constant tremor, a wavering that never rests. Time at the smallest scales resembles that trembling light, never rigid, never entirely smooth, but filled with flickers, shifts, tiny variations that shimmer like stars glimpsed through moving branches. The sense of this world is one of brightness, within quiet, of motion hidden beneath silence. Seconds stretch into fragments so delicate that they slip beneath thought. Moments so brief, they feel shorter than a blink, lighter than the pause of a ticking clock. Yet even in such brevity, time remains, not gone, but flowing in threads finer than breath, present as softly as the air that moves unseen across a still night field. Children often feel something similar in their own way, though on a different scale. To a child, a summer can seem endless, rich with hours that thicken like honey, days that feel more abundant than years later will. The mind, still open, gathers more, and so time feels fuller, denser, each moment stretched wide. This too is a reminder that time does not always carry the same weight for every being, that its current can slow or quicken depending on how it is held. Within the tiny world, the current of time feels like starlight, shimmering, broken into countless glimmers rather than a single steady beam. It appears not as a river, but as a rain of sparks, each drop bright for an instant before giving way to the next. The rhythm is not lost, only transformed, delicate as the flutter of a moth's wings, fragile as dew before dawn. Though these intervals are too short for human senses to grasp, the thought of them need not be heavy. They can be pictured as a soft twinkling, like a night sky seen through half-closed eyes, where stars seem to wink in and out, not with urgency, but with ease. In this vision, time becomes less a straight arrow and more a constellation, patterns forming and dissolving, never harsh, always tender, To dwell on such images is to find comfort in the idea that time itself holds variety, that it can stretch wide or fold into glimmers, that it breathes differently at different scales. What feels infinite in childhood summers, what feels fleeting in a flicker of light, are both the same river, only appearing in different forms. A breath can seem long or short, but each remains part of the same rhythm, and in that rhythm there is rest. The thought settles gently here that within the smallest realms, time glitters rather than flows, trembles rather than marches, shines rather than strikes. It does not vanish. It plays. It does not command. It flickers. To imagine time this way is to imagine lying beneath stars that wink softly, each moment another glow, another hush, another breath, and from this shimmering, the flow continues, quiet and unbroken, carrying the mind onward as though each flicker were only another step in the same dream. The current of thought drifts onward, slipping from the shimmer of tiny time into the quiet possibility of other realms, places that may exist beside this one, yet remain unseen, like shadows cast just beyond the edge of vision. To imagine such spaces is to picture countless worlds, resting side by side, each carrying its own rhythm, each breathing with its own silence, none colliding, none disturbing the others. They move like dreams, belonging to different dreamers, each dream complete, each separate, yet all suspended in the same night. The idea of many worlds does not arrive with harshness. It arrives like a soft vision, as though bubbles of air rose from a still pond, each rounding itself into a sphere, each reflecting its own colors in the light. These bubbles drift without touching, carrying their beauty in quiet solitude, turning and shining in delicate ways, content to share the same breeze without struggle. The universe, imagined this way, becomes an expanse of bubbles, endless in number, each containing a reality of its own. Among the people of the Celtic lands, there were tales of the other world, a place that lay beside this one, yet was hidden, as though separated by a veil thin as mist. It was said that only a doorway could reveal it, and that once entered, time would not flow in the same way. A single day spent within might pass as centuries outside, and one who returned would find the world transformed while they themselves remained unchanged. In this telling, the other world was not far away, but folded against the familiar, its rhythm different, its silence distinct, yet always near. To hold this myth is to sense how close other worlds might feel, not distant across a void, but adjacent, layered as petals upon a flower. Each petal carries its own pattern, its own hue, yet together they form one bloom, each leaning gently upon the other without merging. So too could the worlds of the cosmos rest together, not clashing, not interfering, only coexisting with a quiet harmony. The imagination offers gentle pictures. Some of these worlds might flow with time moving backward, like a river retreating to its spring instead of to the sea. Others might carry an extra dimension of space, a corridor unseen in this world, yet natural within their own. Each reality would be complete within itself, whole and unbroken, a universe unto itself, breathing its own rhythm, sighing with its own cycles of dawn and dusk. To drift among such images is to rest in the comfort that multiplicity does not mean conflict. Just as clouds may float side by side in the same sky without pressing against one another, so too might these realities drift, each with its own form, its own softness. They do not compete, they do not erase. They remain as clouds remain, passing gently in currents that are shared yet unowned. Each bubble of existence could be pictured with its own color, iridescent like soap films in sunlight. One glows with hues of rose, another with the soft shimmer of silver, another with faint green or gold. They hover together in silence, each reflecting, each refracting, each delicate yet enduring. To watch them in the mind is to feel a sense of rest, a reminder that variety can exist without disturbance, that difference can be as peaceful as similarity. In such visions, parallel worlds are not heavy with burden, but light as drifting breath. They exist not as threats, but as lullabies, whispering of infinite possibilities, of countless realities, all soft in their own unfolding, just as one dream fades while another rises in sleep. These worlds carry on beside one another, never colliding, never ending, simply being. The thought lingers here with ease. To imagine these worlds is not to solve them, but to rest within their suggestion, to let the possibility float like a cloud across the inner sky. The mind does not need to grasp, only to drift, breathing slowly, matching the rhythm of the imagined bubbles as they float without rush, without noise. And from this vision, the flow moves onward, still gentle, still soft, carrying the breath of thought further into the mystery of existence, as though the dream itself were turning another page in silence. The thought drifts quietly from the vision of parallel bubbles into another image, one of resting depths, where the fabric of space bends inward with unusual patience, as though leaning into a pulse of stillness. These regions of the cosmos are unlike the wide plains of ordinary space, for here the cloth does not remain flat. It folds down, drawing itself into a funnel, calm and continuous, as though gravity were not a force, but a gentle hand reshaping the stage into a deep cradle. Such a place is often called a black hole, though the name suggests fear where none is needed. In truth, it may be pictured more softly, less as a threat and more as a well of silence, a hollow where the rhythms of the universe pause. From a distance, nothing shouts or stirs. It simply sits, a quiet center, a point of weight so concentrated that space itself bows low, like silk sinking under a bead of dew. To imagine the shape of this hollow, One might picture water circling the drain of a bath. The surface folds inward, the current spirals slowly, and the motion continues with grace until it vanishes beneath. There is no violence in the swirl, only the inevitability of flow, the surrender of water to a deeper path. The bending of space into a black hole carries the same softness, a slow gathering of lines into a center that holds them without noise. Within the stories of Japan, there is a realm called Yomi, the land of shadows, where time no longer carries meaning in the way it does upon the surface of the living world. Those who entered Yomi were said to remain not because of walls or chains, but because they had tasted of its food, becoming part of its rhythm, part of a fabric where time and space no longer separate. This ancient tale echoes the way black holes fold reality itself, blending what was once distinct into something inseparable. At the deepest heart of such a place, time and space mingle like honey stirred into milk, no longer apart, no longer able to be named in isolation. A moment might become distance, and distance might become a moment, the threads weaving into one another until they form a texture beyond familiar grasp. To imagine this is not to fear, but to accept the merging, the way colors fade into dusk, the way breath fades into sleep. From the outside, though, the picture remains serene. A black hole does not storm or blaze. It appears instead like a stone in a garden of raked sand, simple and dark, holding stillness within its presence. It absorbs without motion, it rests without display, and the silence it offers is as complete as nightfall over still water. Seen this way, it becomes less a devourer and more a resting place, a point where the flow of space-time itself finds pause. The sensation such an image brings is not of loss, but of rest. To think of a black hole is to think of the universe folding into sleep, tucking itself into a depth where movement slows, where lines end not in breakage, but in transformation. It is a cradle of silence, a hollow where time bows its head and space curls inward, both entering into a state of repose. And if thought lingers here long enough, the impression grows tender. The black hole is not a wound in the cosmos, but a place where the cosmos gathers itself inward, holding its breath in long stillness. It is not an enemy of creation, but a chamber of return, where the patterns of motion cease their wandering and come to rest in hidden harmony. To picture it as frightening is to miss its gentleness. To picture it as restful is to sense its true nature. Thus, the vision settles. The funnel of space, the spiral of water, the quiet realm of Yomi, the blending of honey and milk, all pointing to the same idea of rest. The black hole becomes a symbol of repose, of stillness so deep that even time lays itself down. There is no need for fear in this image, for nothing is destroyed. It is only transformed, carried inward, absorbed into a silence beyond measure. And from this thought, the current of the mind drifts softly onward, leaving behind the image of deep rest and moving into the next quiet wonder, as though following the breath itself into another pause, another unfolding. From the quiet depth of space, resting within itself, the thought moves gently onward as though following a faint vibration carried through the silence. The universe does not remain perfectly still. Even in its stillness, there are tremors, subtle as the shiver of leaves touched by the night breeze. Space, vast and unbroken, is not a rigid stage, but a living fabric that can quiver, can ring softly when something great passes through. To imagine this trembling is to picture the surface of a lake under a gentle wind. At first, the water seems smooth, but then tiny ripples spread outward, circles upon circles, delicate and endless. In the same way, when a great event occurs among the stars, two suns colliding, or heavy worlds spiraling inward, the fabric of space stirs. It does not shout, it does not strike, but sends its ripples outward, patient, slow, moving through the dark, like a song that no ear can hear. These waves are not of water, nor of air, but of the very cloth of space-time itself. They pass unnoticed, slipping through stars and planets, through stone, and through breath, as easily as light slips through glass. The motion is soft, so soft that the body never knows it, and yet it is real, traveling outward like the echo of a bell through a quiet valley. What begins as a tremor in one place continues across the cosmos, a hymn carried without end. A curious truth lies hidden in the heart. Even the beat of a human heart makes such a ripple, though faint beyond measure. Each pulse sends out a whisper into space-time, a vibration too delicate to ever be found, yet still present, still part of the universal fabric. With every beat, a message is given, like a stone so small that it cannot disturb the pond, yet still drops into its depth. Each person, without knowing, adds to the song of the universe, their rhythm folded into the great silence. To hold this image is to think of temple bells ringing in the stillness of dawn. The sound spreads outward, low and slow, filling the air with tones that continue long after the bell is struck, though ears may not hear them forever. The air still carries the wave, spreading it thinner, wider, until it dissolves into silence. Gravitational waves, the ripples of space-time, move in the same way, carrying the memory of distant events across eternity until they fade into the fabric as softly as dew fades into morning light. They pass through all things with the gentleness of a breeze across skin. No hand feels them, no sound is heard, and yet they are always present. They come from the great dances of stars, from the slow spirals of galaxies, from collisions too far away to imagine. Each one passes quietly, unnoticed, like a sigh that brushes the cheek and is gone. They remind the mind that the universe is not silent, but sings in ways beyond hearing. Its lullaby woven not of notes, but of trembling space. The feeling of these waves is tender, when imagined in rest, it is like hearing the sea from a distance, its surf faint but steady, carrying comfort rather than alarm. Each ripple suggests continuity, a connection stretching across emptiness, linking one moment to another, one place to another, as though all of existence shares the same unseen breath. The universe speaks in ripples, and though the body cannot sense them, the thought can rest in their rhythm, slow, soft, unending. To dwell with this vision is to feel encompassed, as though lying within a great cradle that rocks not with sudden motion, but with waves spread thin across immeasurable distance. Nothing presses, nothing disturbs. The ripples pass gently through, touching without weight, shaping without force. They are reminders that the cosmos is alive with motion even in stillness, always humming, always breathing. And so the thought comes to rest here, in the image of invisible waves, flowing endlessly, as delicate as starlight, as patient as breath in sleep. They are not storms, they are not commands, but lullabies, written into the fabric of space, carrying the quiet song of the universe through every corner. To sense them is to sense that even silence trembles with life, that even emptiness is never empty, but full of the softest music. From this vision of ripples, the flow moves onward, not abruptly, but as though gliding with the waves themselves, preparing to drift into the next mystery. Still wrapped in the rhythm of the cosmos, from the ripples that moved invisibly through space, thought continues its slow drift, flowing toward another gentle mystery, the difference between the time the universe keeps and the time the mind feels. Clocks measure the march of moments with unwavering steadiness, their hands circling in constant rhythm. Yet within the heart and within the breath, time bends in ways no instrument can capture. The body knows both flows, the one that ticks outside and the one that drifts within, and together they form a dual river, flowing side by side. When joy is present, the hours seem to slip away like quicksilver, vanishing before they are noticed. When sorrow lingers, moments stretch long, as if each one were a stone to be carried across an endless field. The same clock ticks, indifferent to the weight of feeling, yet the inner sense of time stretches or shrinks, pliant as fabric, reshaped by emotion. This inner current is as real as the outer one, even if it cannot be measured by gears or pendulums. In ancient India, there was a tale of a king who was invited by a god to ascend to the heavenly palace and listen to a song. The melody unfolded, soft and mesmerizing, and when it ended, the king returned to the earth. Yet what felt to him like the passing of a single song had been the span of generations, the lives of his people already long gone. The story whispers that divine time and human time are never the same, just as inner time and outer time can move in different rhythms, each true, each profound. The brain itself weaves this inner sense, creating its own measure of flow, a time of consciousness as delicate as breath, and as variable as clouds. When the mind is engaged, when many impressions arrive, moments feel thick and abundant, like honey filling a jar. When stillness dominates, when little changes, time feels sparse, like a plain of sand under an unmoving sun. Neither is false. Both belong to the experience of living. Both are threads woven into the larger tapestry of existence. To sense this duality is to picture two rivers running side by side, close enough to mirror one another, but never perfectly aligned. One is the objective stream, steady and exact, flowing like water marked by stones and channels, its pace unchanging. The other is the subjective stream, curling and bending, quick in some stretches, slow in others, shaped by memory, by mood, by the depth of attention. Together they move forward, and a life is lived at the meeting of both. In this vision, time becomes less of a strict ruler and more of a gentle companion, one hand steady, one hand shifting, both carrying the traveler onward. The outer time does not care for laughter or grief, for the beating of the heart or the stirring of dreams, and yet the inner time does not vanish into illusion. It is as real as the feelings it reflects, a river of experience that flows in tandem with the river of the cosmos. To hold this thought is to sense a harmony rather than a conflict. Just as the day holds both sunlight and shadow, so life holds both clocks and feelings, both steady beats and wandering measures. One does not replace the other. They exist together, shaping each moment into something both measurable and immeasurable. The mind rests in this balance, knowing that existence is not one current, but two, flowing side by side, each adding to the richness of the whole. And so the image lingers, time outside as the constant ticking of the universe, time inside as the shifting song of the heart. One is the drumbeat, even and eternal. The other is the melody, changing and tender, rising and falling with emotion. Together, they form the music of life, steady rhythm and wandering tune, woven into the same fabric. From this image, the thought drifts gently onward, as though carried by both streams at once, moving without haste toward the next mystery waiting in the quiet expanse. From the two rivers of time, attention drifts gently toward the stage upon which all things unfold, space itself, the quiet expanse that allows form to exist, the unseen architecture that makes life possible. Without space, there would be no room for breath, no distance between stars, no path for motion. It is not only emptiness, but a structure, delicate and balanced, offering just enough dimensions to sustain harmony. Life rests within 3 dimensions, neither fewer nor more. In only 2, a body would have no depth, no chamber to hold nourishment, no way for digestion or circulation to unfold. A living form would be as flat as a shadow on the wall, without the inner corridors needed for breath or blood or growth. And if there were 4 dimensions or more, the paths of planets would not remain steady, their orbits collapsing into chaos, unable to cradle life. The number 3, simple and complete, is like a rhythm in music, balanced, sufficient, allowing all complexity to flower. This balance is not rigid, but tender, offering exactly what is needed. 3 dimensions give the body length, width, and height, enough to create lungs that expand, hearts that pulse, roots that reach into soil. It is a gentle sufficiency, like a bowl that holds water without spilling, like a sky that arches overhead without crushing. The structure of space itself teaches life how to exist, not by command, but by providing the quiet conditions in which harmony can arise. Nature has long obeyed this hidden lesson. Trees, in their patience, place their leaves not randomly, but in spirals, each one angled just so, each one leaning to the side of another. In this way, every leaf drinks light, none overshadowing the rest, each part of the whole receiving what it needs. This spiral is no accident, but the geometry of 3 dimensions guiding life toward balance. The same spiral can be seen in shells, in the turn of galaxies, in the quiet growth of flowers, all revealing the way space instructs without words. The truth may be pictured as a simple dance. Space offers distance, and within distance arises motion. Without space, there would be no between, and without between, no interaction. It is the separation that allows touch, the interval that allows song, the room between stars that allows them to shine. Even the smallest creatures, even the faintest breath, require this gentle spacing, this silent allowance that turns possibility into life. To feel this is to recognize perfection, not in excess, not in deficiency, but in balance. The cosmos does not overfill with dimensions, nor leave them lacking. It offers just enough, like a lullaby with 3 notes repeating in endless combinations, soothing and sufficient. Life grows within this framework as naturally as vines climbing a trellis, finding direction in the spaces between the supports. The trellis does not command the vine. It only provides the shape through which growth can flow. In this way, space itself becomes a quiet teacher. It whispers to leaves how to arrange themselves, to rivers how to curve, to creatures how to move through distance. It does not speak with words, but with the silent geometry of existence, a geometry that cradles life without forcing it. 3 dimensions, soft and steady, form the canvas upon which everything breathes, and so the mind may rest in the thought that existence is not arbitrary, but tenderly structured. The body is possible because space provides chambers and passages. The planet is steady because 3 dimensions allow its orbit to hold. The forest is green because spirals distribute light. The cosmos feels whole because nothing is missing, nothing is wasted. It is a perfection without pride, a sufficiency without demand, like breath that expands and contracts with ease. The vision settles with calm assurance. Space shapes life, and life in turn reflects the balance of space. To sense this is to feel supported, to feel that the ground beneath is not only earth, but a fabric woven for harmony. Nothing is too much, nothing is too little. It is all just enough. And from this gentle realization, the flow of thought continues, moving like breath into the next mystery, still resting in the quiet rhythm of the universe. From the harmony of space shaping life, thought moves slowly into the current of time once more, asking why the river always flows in a single direction, never turning back upon itself. Each breath is followed by the next. Each dawn comes after night. Yet the stream does not reverse. Time seems to hold an arrow, pointing gently forward, never backward, steady and calm in its persistence. The reason whispered by the cosmos lies in a quiet principle called entropy, a word that carries the sense of disorder, of mixing, of things spreading apart. Yet even this idea, softened, may be pictured as the way autumn leaves drift across the ground, never leaping back into the branches from which they fell. Entropy is not a harsh command, but a natural unfolding, a tendency for things once whole to scatter, for what was contained to disperse, for patterns to loosen. It is the lull of dissolution, gentle as twilight spreading across the sky. A broken cup does not gather itself together again. Once the fragments are scattered, they remain apart, each piece lying where it has fallen, the shape of wholeness remembered but not restored. In the same way, smoke that rises into the air does not return to the chimney. Its particles, too dispersed, too free, drifting outward like mist across water. These are not failures, but expressions of time's forward drift, small reflections of the arrow that guides the universe toward greater mingling. Ancient voices, too, noticed this truth and clothed it in story. In China, it was said, "Spilled water cannot be retrieved. Once the clear drops touch the earth, they cannot be coaxed back into a vessel. The pool they might form is not the same as what was lost. The pattern has changed." Such a proverb is a mirror of entropy, reminding that time carries events away, that what was ordered will not return unchanged. Yet in this movement lies a kind of beauty, the beauty of streams that wander, of clouds that dissolve, of lives that scatter into memory. The arrow of time is thus entwined with the arrow of disorder. One does not move without the other. As moments pass, entropy increases, and in this increase, time is marked. To look upon the spreading of ripples from a single pebble is to see this arrow in miniature. The circles widen, thinning as they go, never shrinking back to the center, never reversing their course. The widening is inevitable, but also calm, without violence, a drifting outward into stillness. The universe itself follows this quiet rule. From an early state of order, compact and contained, it moves gently toward states of greater scattering. Stars burn and release their light into space, never to be reclaimed. Heat drifts outward, thin and even, never returning to the compact glow from which it came. This spreading is slow, unimaginably slow, yet it is steady, like a great forest where one leaf falls after another until the ground is softly covered. The sense may seem solemn, but when held gently, it becomes peaceful. Entropy is not a release, but a release, a letting go. It is the reason that dawn turns to day, day to dusk, dusk to night. It is the reason that seasons cycle, each one wearing a slightly different pattern of growth and decline. Nothing stays fixed, everything drifts, and in that drifting there is a softness, like exhalation after inhalation, like the slow lowering of eyelids in rest. To imagine entropy is to picture a candle's flame. The wax melts, the heat spreads, the light travels outward into the room. None of it returns, yet the process feels natural, even tender. The flame is not defeated by its melting. It is made beautiful by it, the way light fills the dark for a time before fading into memory. Time flows forward because entropy flows forward, and both are gentle, inseparable companions in the unfolding of existence. And so the mind may rest in the thought that the arrow of time is not harsh, but quiet, not sudden, but gradual. It does not rush toward disorder, but strolls, like leaves settling one by one onto earth, like snowflakes drifting without sound. The universe does not resist this path. It follows it with serenity, as though breathing out slowly after a long inhale. From this vision, calm and unhurried, arises a sense of acceptance. Time flows forward because things loosen, because patterns soften, because what was once tightly held is allowed to spread. It is not loss, but change, not despair, but transformation. Entropy is the song of time's arrow, and it is sung in whispers, in dissolving clouds, in fading warmth, in the falling of petals. The current rests here, in the recognition that time moves one way, not by force, but by the gentle law of scattering. Entropy is its companion, and together they guide the cosmos forward, like a river carrying leaves downstream. There is no haste in this journey, only the endless unfolding of order into softness, structure into openness, presence into memory. And from that understanding, thought drifts onward, breathing with the rhythm of the cosmos, toward the next gentle wonder waiting in the dark. From the quiet arrow of entropy, thought drifts into the long memory of the universe itself, a memory stretched across ages, so vast that human language falters to contain it. The cosmos has been unfolding for an immense span, older than any star now burning, older than the earth beneath the feet, older even than the patterns of galaxies seen in the sky. Its story stretches far back into silence, as though time itself has been writing with the slowest hand imaginable, tracing chapter after chapter upon a canvas of darkness and light. Within this grand chronology, Earth is but a younger presence, a small jewel forming long after the first galaxies had swirled into being. The planet rests like a child in the arms of an elder universe, glowing with oceans and mountains, yet carrying a history only a fraction of the whole. Stars had burned and died before Earth came into form, scattering the elements that would later breathe as water and soil, as plants and animals. The story of the world is written upon pages already thick with ancient ink, and its letters shine briefly in comparison. Life arrived still later, delicate and unassuming, first as simple whispers of being, then slowly gathering into greater complexity. The rhythm of growth was not rushed. It unfolded as patiently as moss upon stone, as coral building reefs, as forests spreading inch by inch. Time allowed life to explore, to branch, to reach. Yet even as countless ages passed in this quiet labor, the span remained but a breath within the larger book of the universe. And only in the final moments of this long, cosmic narrative did human beings appear, fragile and brief in measure, yet luminous with thought. If the whole of cosmic history were pressed into a single year, humanity would emerge in the very last minute of the very last day, a flicker before midnight. The mind cannot hold such compression easily, yet the image brings calm perspective. In that minute, humanity has looked back upon the vastness of the entire year and sought to understand it, to read the earlier chapters, though they were written long before human eyes could see. The entire story of civilization, of language and song, of memory and dream, fits into the smallest fraction of that final moment, a blink in cosmic time, a spark that appears and fades. Yet even within that blink lies depth, meaning, beauty. For what is brief is not without value. The shortest flame still warms. The smallest star still shines. The faintest breath still carries life. To rest within this vision is to feel both humility and significance. The place of humanity in the great expanse is small, yet not empty. Each instant carries weight, as though the vast cosmos leans down to cradle even the most fleeting thought. Time does not measure worth in length alone. A single note may complete a song. A single petal may complete a flower. In this way, human presence, though brief, completes part of the universe's unfolding. The image of scale may be softened further. Imagine the cosmos as a great tree, its trunk and branches stretching for billions of years. Earth is a leaf upon one of its boughs, young in comparison to the roots and trunk that came before. Humanity is a dewdrop upon that leaf, sparkling only for a moment in the morning light. The drop does not last the day, yet it is part of the tree's wholeness, part of the cycle of water and air, part of the living pattern that breathes through the whole. To breathe with this understanding is to accept the smallness not as loss, but as belonging. Every second of existence is both a fragment and a fullness, both tiny and entire. The stream of human time may be short, yet it flows within the river of cosmic time, inseparable from its waters. Even the blink of an eye contains eternity, for eternity is made of countless such blinks. the milestones of the cosmos, its birth, its stars, its planets, its life, its humanity, form a sequence not of rivalry, but of harmony. Each comes in its time, each carries the story forward, each adds to the song. To know that human life is recent and brief is not to diminish it, but to see it as a delicate chord within a larger symphony, fleeting yet essential. And so the thought comes to rest upon this vision. The universe is ancient, Earth is young, life is younger still, and humanity is but a moment. Yet within that moment lies reflection, memory, awareness. The cosmos has unfolded across billions of years, and in its final minute, it has given rise to beings who can look back, who can wonder, who can listen to the quiet of time itself. From this gentle perspective, time no longer feels heavy. It feels like a breath, long, vast, and unbroken, carrying within it both the endless ages and the briefest instants, each part woven together into the same slow rhythm of the cosmos. From the long timeline of the cosmos, the thought drifts gently toward another truth, one that rests not in what is seen, but in what is unseen. Most of the universe is not matter at all, but emptiness, vast stretches of silence, quiet expanses where no star glows and no planet turns. Even within what appears solid, even within the smallest grain of stone or the body of a living being, most of what is present is not substance, but space. To look inside the atom, the building block of matter, is to discover that nearly all of it is hollow. If the nucleus, the dense heart at the center, were imagined as a beam resting in the middle of a stadium, the electrons would be like tiny sparks dancing far away along the outer walls, leaving all the rest as empty air. The atom is more spacious than solid, more silence than form. It is a reminder that the foundation of the physical world is not packed with substance, but open, airy, light. The body itself, though felt as firm and whole, is made mostly of this same openness. Bones, blood, skin, every part is woven from atoms whose interiors are almost entirely void. Each step, each breath, each touch rests upon a framework of emptiness, dressed in thin threads of matter. To realize this is not unsettling, but soothing, as though existence itself is lighter than it seems, a gentle veil stretched across vast spaces. Ancient wisdom held its own way of whispering this truth. In Zen teachings it was said, the empty space inside the jar is what makes it useful. The jar's clay walls shape the vessel, but it is the emptiness inside that allows water to be held, flowers to be placed, nourishment to be carried. Without space, the jar would be only solid stone, incapable of serving. In the same way, the universe is shaped not only by its matter, but by its hollowness, its wide and open intervals that allow matter to breathe. to move, to take form. Distance itself creates shape. It is the gaps between notes that make music, the silence between breaths that allows the chest to rest, the spacing between stars that gives the night sky its constellation. Without distance, there would be no form, no pattern, no beauty. It is the separation that draws outlines, the intervals that give rise to the recognition of one thing and another. The space between does not subtract, it completes. And so space is not absence but presence. It is not nothingness but the gentle condition that allows everything else to appear. Matter is like ink upon paper, but the paper itself, the openness, the background, is what holds the ink, what allows the image to exist at all. In this way, space is not less real than matter. It is more fundamental, the stage upon which matter may briefly dance. To imagine this is to soften into an image of smoke curling in the air, delicate and weightless, forming shapes, yet never fixed, drifting through openness without boundary. Reality itself is like this, formed by patterns of matter, yet made possible only by the vast stretches of space that cradle them. Even the strongest mountain, even the densest metal, is built upon hollowness, woven of particles, separated by distances that outweigh their size. The sense this brings is one of lightness. To know that everything is mostly space is to feel that existence is not heavy, but airy, not crowded, but free. The world feels less like a burden of solid stone and more like a flowing fabric with threads of matter stretched across open air. Each being is both form and emptiness, both substance and space, both visible and invisible. And within this balance, there is peace. What appears solid is never only solid. What appears filled is never without openness. The universe is not a coast box, but a spacious garden, where gaps are as important as petals, where silence is as essential as sound. Life moves within these spaces. Breath fills them. Thought flows through them. The recognition lingers like a lullaby. Emptiness is not to be feared, for it is the quiet fullness that allows being. A cup is useful because it is hollow. A body is aleph because it is airy. A universe is beautiful because it is mostly space, wide and open, holding stars and silence together. And from this soft vision of spaciousness, the flow continues, carrying the thought toward the next gentle mystery, as though drifting across a sky without end, resting within air that is everywhere, breathing in the openness that is the essence of all things. From the vision of space as openness, the thought moves gently toward the place of beings within that vast design, resting not outside, but inside the quiet fabric of space-time. Every life is woven into this four-dimensional cloth, a line stretching from the first breath to the last, a path already inscribed within the weave. Each person is not separate from the universe, but a current flowing within it, a gentle stream winding through both space and time. To picture this is to imagine a thread drawn across a loom, crossing not only distance, but duration, birth, growth, decline, and departure are points along the same line, already present in the fabric, even if only one can be felt at a time. The past is not gone. It remains behind like footprints in soft soil. The future is not absent. It waits ahead like ripples that have not yet reached the shore. All coexist, held together by space-time, as surely as stars are held by gravity's curve. The Maya once told of time not as a straight road, but as a spiral, coiling like a serpent upon itself. Past and future do not stand apart at opposite ends, but curve near, close enough to almost touch, winding together in endless loops. Each life is a point along this spiral, touching both what has been and what will be, connecting beginnings with endings in a single motion. The serpent coils, and within its turns, time is whole. To live within such a spiral is to turn page by page, reading the story one moment at a time, though the book already lies complete. The reader cannot see all at once, yet each chapter exists, each ending already written, each beginning already preserved. This does not diminish the act of reading. It gives it meaning, for the unfolding is gentle, paced like breath, allowing the weight of each word, the softness of each pause. Human existence, then, is not fragile thread breaking in the dark, but part of a greater design already woven. Each instant of joy, each shadow of sorrow, each moment of stillness belongs to the same tapestry, and nothing is lost. Even what has passed still resides within space-time, quiet but present, like stars whose light continues to shine long after their burning has ended. The sense that arises from this vision is not of loss, but of wholeness. To know that every stage of life, past and future, coexists is to feel complete. What is gone has not vanished. It has settled gently into the fabric. What is yet to come is already resting within the weave, waiting for its moment to be read. Time becomes less like a rushing river and more like a garden already planted, each bloom unfolding in its season, though the seeds of all are already present in the soil. Even the smallest gesture holds permanence in this view. A laugh, a glance, a breath, all take their place in space-time and remain. The fleeting becomes eternal. The momentary becomes lasting. Life is not slipping away. It is joining the record of what is. To breathe is to add another thread to the cloth, another page to the book, another ripple to the spiral. Each one stays, delicate yet enduring. To rest with this thought is to feel less fear of impermanence. Death is not erasure, but another point upon the line, another turn of the spiral, another chapter in the book already written. The past remains behind, the future waits ahead, and all are present in the whole. The universe does not lose, it contains. The spiral does not break, It continues its winding, endlessly patient. This vision is soothing, like standing before a circle that has no beginning and no end. Humanity's place is within, not outside, a participant in the eternal unfolding. To sense this is to feel completion, to feel that nothing is ever wasted, nothing ever discarded. All things remain, resting softly in space-time, like stars mirrored upon still water, shining even in silence. And so the thought settles, calm and unhurried. Humanity is not apart from the cosmos, but part of its very weave. Each life a gentle current in space-time, each moment a note in the spiral of time. Past, present, and future are not scattered, but gathered together, waiting patiently, complete in themselves. From this understanding, the flow drifts onward, moving with the same rhythm as breath, toward the next quiet reflection, held in the embrace of the universe. The thought drifts onward, from the spiral of time toward the fragile notion of now, as though stepping lightly from one ripple into another. The present appears simple, yet within it lies a mystery as subtle as starlight, a question that dissolves the harder one looks. To ask what now is feels like reaching for mist. The mind believes in a moment that can be held, a single breath in which everything exists together. Yet light itself tells another story, for every beam that touches the eye has traveled a path through distance, carrying not what is, but what was. The warmth of the sun upon the skin is not of this instant, but of a star as it existed moments ago. Its surface already changed, though the memory still arrives, golden and soft. So it is with all vision. Every shape, every shadow, every glimmer of color is a message sent earlier, however slight the delay. What is seen is never fully the present, but always the past arriving gently, like echoes crossing a canyon, long after the sound has left the lips. The world, then, is always remembered, never truly simultaneous, and yet it feels whole in the act of seeing. The mind resolves this, quietly weaving fragments into a seamless cloth, through the play of neurons and synapses, through signals flowing like rivers of light within the brain. There is the creation of a present that seems steady. This present is subjective, tenderly assembled, as if the mind were a patient artist painting a picture from countless strokes that have already dried. It is an illusion, perhaps, yet it is a necessary one, offering calmness, offering rhythm, offering continuity, like the soft beat of a heart. A curious thought arises. When two people gaze upon each other, the eyes meet, yet each receives only what has already passed, light that needed a fraction of time to cross the space between. Each beholds the other not as they are, but as they were, however, slightly before, like viewing a photograph not yet faded. In truth, no two beings ever share precisely the same moment. Each has a present that is their own, private and delicate, as unique as a breath drawn in silence. This knowledge does not create distance. Rather, it reveals intimacy, For within the gentle delays, there is a shared vulnerability, a reminder that all encounters are exchanges across time, like letters carried on invisible wings. The present is never entirely shared, but always touched across a small span, as though reaching hands through water. The beauty lies in that reaching, in knowing that even if exact simultaneity is beyond reach, connection still forms, shimmering and real in its softness. On the scale of the universe, the idea of a single present dissolves further still. Vast galaxies turn with rhythms of their own. Stars collapse and are born. Waves of light and gravity ripple across emptiness, each carrying its own timing. There is no universal clock striking a common hour, no great bell announcing a shared now for all things. Instead, every point in the cosmos rests in its own present, flowing according to its place, its motion, its path through space-time. The universe is a symphony without a single beat, each note playing in its own measure, yet together creating harmony. And so the present becomes less a fixed instant and more a personal horizon, soft and shifting. For each person, the now is like a pool of still water, reflecting only what reaches its surface, shaped by the ripples of perception, thought, and memory. It is private, it is tender, it is intimate. Each being carries a present that belongs only to them. And in that solitude, there is a quiet kind of beauty. To rest in this thought is to feel the present less as a point and more as a cloud, drifting without edges, held loosely but surrounding gently. The moment cannot be seized, yet it can be inhabited, like lying upon grass beneath a night sky, hearing the slow rhythm of breath, watching stars whose light is old, yet whose glow feels immediate. The softness of the present lies not in precision, but in acceptance, in yielding to its mystery, in knowing that even if what is seen is always past, the feeling of now is still real. The present, then, as a whisper. It is not solid, not absolute, but it soothes as though it were creating a sense of stillness within the endless river of time. To live within it is to float, to drift, to breathe. It is enough that it feels whole, enough that it carries peace. And in this peace, the thought moves again, unhurried, carrying the listener forward like a tide, toward the next quiet reflection, awaiting in the fabric of the universe. The thought drifts onward, carrying with it the gentle question of what lies ahead, as if following the current of a slow-moving river that vanishes into mist. The future seems near, yet unreachable, always imagined, never touched. In the stillness of night, this question arises softly. If all of space-time exists as one vast fabric, then is the future already woven into its threads? The idea of space-time suggests that past, present, and future might be laid out together like patterns upon a cloth stretched wide and endless. If so, then every step, every breath, every meeting has already been marked, waiting only to be walked through. This thought carries both calm and unease, like the sight of a horizon that promises beauty, yet denies the freedom of turning another way. And still, the fabric feels gentle, less a prison, and more a blanket that holds everything within its quiet folds. Yet another thought rises, no less soft, no less valid. Perhaps the threads are not fixed, but braided anew with every choice, as if each moment is a hand placing another stone upon a flowing path. In this view, freedom exists, delicate but real, like the ability of a leaf to drift left or right upon a stream. Physics, in its patient silence, offers no final answer, leaving the question to remain open, drifting like a lantern released into the night sky. Both visions, the fixed and the free, carry their own quiet sense of truth. To imagine the future already written brings comfort, like knowing a book already exists from beginning to end, even as the pages are turned one by one. To imagine freedom brings another comfort, the sense that one's choices matter, that every gesture is a brushstroke painting upon a still, unfinished canvas. Neither thought demands urgency, for both are equally possible, equally gentle, equally present. In the old stories of Persia, there is a tale of a tailor who learned of the day he would meet his death. Fearful, he fled from his home and journeyed to a faraway city, believing he could escape the threat of fate. Yet when he arrived, he found death waiting, as if surprised itself, saying softly, "I too wondered why our meeting was set in this place, for I had been told to meet you here." The story lingers like a sigh, neither cruel nor harsh, only a reminder that destiny and choice weave together in ways beyond knowing. The tale carries not despair, but a tender sense of inevitability, like the fall of evening after the slow passage of day. It suggests that perhaps running from the future is the very way of arriving at it, that what awaits will find its way gently, no matter the path taken. Within this thought lies not fear, but acceptance, the kind of acceptance that feels like resting beneath a tree, hearing leaves move softly in the wind, knowing that the cycle of growth and falling continues without demand. What matters, then, is not whether the future is written or unwritten, but how the present is inhabited. Each moment holds weight, fragile and luminous, like a drop of dew on a blade of grass, shimmering even if it must fade. To live in such a way that each moment is honored brings meaning whether or not destiny is fixed. For even if the story has already been told, the living of it is still real, still precious, still unique. Each choice, each breath, each word carries a sense of responsibility, not as a burden, but as a quiet reminder that being alive is itself a rare and delicate chance. Even if the future is already formed, walking toward it with care changes its feeling. Even if the future is yet to be made, the act of choosing with gentleness creates its shape. In both, there is dignity. In both, there is meaning. And so the question remains, not answered, not solved, but softened into something bearable. Is the future already written, or does it unfold with freedom? The universe does not say. It only holds the paths within itself, like a vast forest that contains both straight roads and wandering trails. The traveler walks slowly, step by step, and whichever way the journey bends, the forest remains beautiful, vast, and kind. With this thought, the mind loosens again, surrendering to the rhythm of time, as if the future itself were breathing softly, promising that whatever comes, it too will pass through the same gentle night. The stream of thought continues, yet its current has grown slower, softer, and more subdued, as though the flow itself has entered a wide and gentle bend in the river, where once the waters carried images of galaxies, of black holes, of the long breath of time. Now the surface is calmer, rippling with only faint movements, almost still, yet never entirely motionless. Each idea that once bloomed like a flower opening to the morning, now folds into itself, closing its petals, preparing to dream in silence. It is not an end, but a pause, the kind of pause that feels like a breath drawn deeply in and exhaled into the shadows of night. The universe continues its rhythm. Stars burn, galaxies drift, black holes hum their deep and voiceless song. Yet from here, all is hushed, softened into something that soothes rather than awakens. The vastness no longer looms but rests, like a blanket of dusk laid carefully over the endless sky. To lie beneath it is to feel the tender weight of eternity pressing lightly, gently against the skin, keeping watch without demand. Thoughts of time and space, of matter and emptiness, of the delicate balance that holds all things, slowly dissolve into something quieter. They thin like ink, dispersing into still water, until what remains is not concept, but sensation. The sensation of being surrounded, of being carried, of being held. Breath mirrors this truth, rising, falling, rising again. Each breath is the same, yet each breath is new. Just as the universe repeats itself endlessly, in cycles of light and shadow, in rhythms that stretch beyond memory, the body answers to this rhythm. Muscles soften, the heart steadies, the mind releases its grasp. The world does not vanish, but it becomes faint, as though blurred by a veil of twilight. The now becomes slower, more open, a meadow without fences or boundaries. There is no hurry here, only the gentle hum of existence. Rest deepens, the way dusk deepens across a valley, slow and quiet, without ever needing to announce its arrival. Within this hush, the notion of time itself loosens. Past and future drift farther away, fading into horizons that no longer press upon the senses. What remains is the present. Yet even this present is not a point or a line but a soft expanse, tender and wide, like a sky without horizon. In this sky, all is unhurried. In this sky, All is allowed. The stories told tonight remain, though no longer as sharp outlines. They linger as tones, as whispers, as the after resonance of a bell long struck, space that cradles life, time that moves with entropy, futures both written and unwritten. All of these lie now within the hush, singing not with voices, but with silence itself. Silence, too, carries a song, and the song is low, steady, comforting, like a hand upon the brow, like a lullaby carried forward through centuries of night. Above, the stars remain patient witnesses. They do not falter, they do not rush. They shine as they have always shone, their light moving slowly through the abyss, crossing distances so great they blur into eternity. To rest beneath them is to feel their presence even without sight, to sense their watchfulness, their quiet assurance that nothing is hurried, nothing is broken, all things belong to the same unfolding. The night deepens further, shadows gather, but not as threat. They gather as companions, as guardians, soft and unshaken. In this gathering, there is no need for defense, no need for holding on. The universe itself is the guardian, standing still while dreams begin their weaving. Sleep arrives gently, carrying the same pulse as stars, the same rhythm as orbits, the same slow drift as galaxies, leaning away from one another, yet remaining within one boundless whole. This pause is not an ending. It is a closing page, resting until morning, waiting for the hand that will open it again. The story halts, not because it is finished, but because it has entered the silence between chapters. Within that silence, nothing is lost. Everything remains folded gently within the embrace of the cosmos, waiting to be unfolded once more, and so the mind may let go, sinking deeper, lower, quieter. The body may yield, melting into stillness, dissolving into the cradle of rest. Spirit may drift, carried on invisible currents, as though floating through a sea made not of water, but of breath itself. All is suspended, all is held, all is safe. The thought of tomorrow does not intrude but comforts. Tomorrow will bring another story, another voice from the universe, another unfolding of the silent song. There is no rush to meet it. It will arrive on its own, as dawn arrives after night, as tides return after ebb. For now, all that matters is the slow descent into sleep, the tender surrender into the quiet sea that waits. The universe still moves, stars still breathe their light into darkness, time still unfurls like a ribbon through the void. But here, now, in this resting, nothing needs to be followed, nothing needs to be grasped. It is enough to drift, to let go, to surrender into the hush. The night carries everything, the night holds everything, and sleep deepens, layer upon layer, until even the thought of sleep dissolves into the silence it brings. This closing is a circle, a return to breath, a return to silence, just as the cosmos cycles endlessly, just as orbits loop and seasons repeat. The story itself comes round to stillness, to pause, to promise. tomorrow another chapter will open, another whisper of the universe will be heard. For tonight, only this is needed: the quiet, the hush, the endless rest. And so, with galaxies turning far away, with starlight arriving across forgotten distances, with time still flowing but softened into dream, the story rests here. It does not end. It only waits, like a lantern unlit, ready to glow again. Sleep is the hand that closes the lantern's lid, and dreams are the flame that will rise within. Let the night carry all things. Let the stars keep watch. Let breath soften into silence. Until tomorrow, rest deeply and let the universe sing its lullaby in the language of sleep.